Good morning. Happy Tuesday. My voice is still a little bit tired. It's 9 o'clock, I think, and I have the entire week off. I also had the prior week off where I went to London for a few days with my friend Chelsea. And if you stay tuned, I will show you my book haul because I did some book shopping, of course. And I got some goodies, I have to say. I already finished one of the books actually, but more on that later. I hope you had a good start to the month of November. I can't believe the year is almost over, and I know everyone says this, but I have to say 2025 was one of the fastest years I've ever experienced. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying this year went by so quickly for me. I don't know where the time went. So I'm trying to make the most of the last 2 months of the year whilst also dealing with my post October sadness because October is the month for me. It's my favorite month. It's the month where I feel most alive, I feel most like myself, and I'm so sad that it's gone. I did have a lovely October though, don't get me wrong. But every year it's quite. Listen, I'm an emotional girly, okay? But every year saying goodbye to October is really hard for me. If you've watched my vlog where I presented my fall TBR, you know that I am planning on rereading Wuthering Heights, and I was saving it for November because I feel like the month of November is the perfect time to read Wuthering Heights. So this is what I'll be doing now. I will be enjoying my coffee and I will be reading Wuthering Heights. Let me just get my copy. So this is the edition that I have and that I will be reading. I am also rereading Twilight, which again, if you've seen my fall TBR, you know that this was also on there. And this is the book that I'm reading in bed at night because I need something to wind down at the end of the day. So I need a light read, which of course this is. Not making fun of this. This is the book that really got me into reading. I have a huge soft spot for this book, and reading it now, I'm realizing that I forgot so many things. I know the basic plot, but I think it stems more from rewatching the film over and over again, because there are so many details in this that I completely forgot. So it's nice to revisit this because I remember reading this when I was 18 and relating to Bella so much. And I have to say, book Bella, really, she's a baddie. Otherwise, I didn't make too many plans for this week because I really need a week for myself. I have been working so much that I really just want to spend time by myself and, yeah, maybe meet a few friends for coffee or something, but that's it. No big plans for me. I do, however, have plans with myself. I might execute one of them today, actually, because I wanted to take Remy to the park, the big park that we have here in Hamburg. That is so lovely. And my favorite cafe is really close to the park. So my plan is to get a nice big coffee and take the dog to the park. But for now, I need more time to actually wake up, and I'll just have a slow morning reading in bed and just take it easy. I am 22 pages into Wuthering Heights. I started reading this last night on the sofa. In this case, page 22 means I am on chapter 4. I found this really nice Wuthering, well, maybe not nice, but very fitting Wuthering Heights ambience on YouTube. So I just played that and read my book, and it's already so good. It's so good. I'm so happy that I decided to read this again. Otherwise, I had a lovely day yesterday. Remy and I went out for a massive walk, and we finished our big walk by going to the photo booth, which I have been wanting to do for weeks now. And the pictures came out so cute. I'm so happy that we did it. I'm just making lunch right now. I just had a work call, and after lunch, I'm taking Remy outside again, just for a small walk today because I feel like she needs a rest day. But we are going to pick up some espresso beans because I'm out. And also, there's this new little cute bakery that just opened near our place and right across the street from my coffee shop. So we might have to check that out. And then I am going to the gym, even though I'm still sore. I have to get back into training regularly, so I'm going to the gym. And that's it. That's the plan for today. I have to do a massive food shop also, which I'm sure is riveting content for you. But I have to do it, and otherwise we're just chilling. But that's my day. The sun is shining. My water is boiling, so I have to poach my egg. And I will see you later. 1, 2, 3. The house. I just went for a lovely walk. The weather is so nice. It's the perfect fall, and everything just looks perfect. I promised you a book haul, so let's talk about all the books that I picked up while I was in London. So we have a total of 5 books. One of them I already read, so let's start with that one. Dennis Johnson, Train Dreams. Look at this cover, especially the picture is what really drew me in when I saw this at Foyles. I see a dog on a book cover. I'm immediately intrigued. As you can tell, this is a rather short book. It is a story about this man who works as a day laborer. He fells trees, he works on the railway. This takes place in the beginning of the 20th century in the US, where everything is, especially in the West, where this takes place, everything is changing quite rapidly. And the main character, who has lost his wife and his child, his daughter, he is trying to, on the one hand, come to term with his loss and at the same time dealing with this rapid change that is happening all around him. I had never heard of this before. I had never heard of the author before. I am so glad that I found this. This was published for the first time in 2011, but it is definitely written in the Steinbeck tradition, I would say. It really reminded me of the way that Steinbeck makes use of setting and place, and especially nature, to tell a character's story or to flesh out a character. And I feel like Dennis Johnson did a very similar thing, and that's also why I enjoyed it so much. I read East of Eden this summer, and I was mesmerized by Steinbeck's writing. So this felt quite at home, I would say, for me. And I am so happy that I read this because I would also say this is not the typical story I gravitate towards, but I am trying to kind of broaden my horizon when it comes to my reading, so this was definitely a good step in the right direction for me. Also, of course, not saying that reading books by Western white men broadens your horizon necessarily. I'm just saying this is not something I would usually go for. Hence, it does broaden my horizon. The plan for buying books on this trip that I recently did was to really browse and not be so influenced by things that I see online. Trying not to read what everyone's kind of reading at the moment. I mean, not everyone, but my book bubble. So I was really trying to just have a look at the books, read some blurbs, and just see what speaks to me. And the next one is another perfect example of this. It's Big Kiss Bye Bye by Claire Louise Bennett. Again, I had never heard of this. Of course, I am drawn to the beautiful Fitzgeraldo editions. From what I understand, this is about a woman who moves from the city to the countryside, and she's kind of remembering her life and especially her past relationships and lovers, and she's particularly thinking about Xavier, who has always been certain he knows her better than anyone, better than she knows herself. And from what I gather, it's about this woman sort of meditating on her past life and also on her everyday life and on what love means, what relationships are, why are we drawn to certain people. It even says, what does it mean to connect with another person? What impels us to touch someone, to be touched by them, to stay in touch? How do we let them go? So, another author that is new to me, which I am very excited about. And it's so funny because I showed this book to my friend and they said that they also saw it at the bookshop and they read the blurb on the back and they said that they were immediately thinking, oh, this could be a book for Anna. So it was so funny because then I showed them and they were like, oh, yeah, I thought of you when I saw this. So those were the books that I bought at the Big Foils in London. And now I have two books that I bought at the Big Waterstones. These two are definitely bookshops that I keep coming back to just because I love the huge selection that they carry, which is very exciting for me because when I go to the bookshop here, yes, they do have great English selections, but it's just so different when you have this big bookshop where you can just browse. At the Waterstones, I picked up two books that I definitely knew about, but I wasn't necessarily planning on reading them soon. And I would say, especially in my book bubble, they are considered somewhat iconic. So let's just have a look. The first book I got was Madonna in a Fur Coat, which again, I have been wanting to read this. The cover is so beautiful. And I thought, why not buy it? Because I will get to it eventually. And it'll be very convenient for it just to be on my physical TBR. And I'm sure you've heard of this. This is about a Turkish man who falls in love with an artist in 1920s Berlin. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to read this and see for myself what this book is all about. Next one, and I'm so excited about this one. It's my first Claire Lispector. I got The Passion According to GH. Again, I feel like I don't have to talk about this in depth, but Claire Lispector, of course, is a very famous Brazilian writer. I don't know who said it, but I recently heard someone say Claire Lispector is kind of the Brazilian Margaret Atwood. By the way, Margaret Atwood just came out with her biography, and I'm dying to read it. I don't know too much about this, but it is about a Brazilian artist who enters the room of her maid, which is as clear and white as an insane asylum from which dangerous objects have been removed. And she sees a cockroach, and I think the cockroach is dying, and she leaves the room but kind of becomes obsessed with this insect dying, and it kind of provokes a spiritual crisis. Even though the premise sounds great, I'm not really in it for the plot, but I really want to get to know Claire Lispector's writing because I've heard so many great things about her writing style. And yeah, I feel like this, again, is a new author to me, but I feel like she could easily become one of my favorite authors. And finally, we had a lovely day in Hampstead Heath and went to Daunt Books, and I finally picked up a dark green tote bag because people need to know. They need to know I'm a book girly, so I had to get this bag. But yeah, Daunt Books, of course, is an institution, and they do carry fiction, but I would say their nonfiction catalog is even bigger. I think they started as a travel book shop, correct me if I'm wrong, but they still categorize their books by country. And the book that I picked up makes perfect sense in terms of what I just told you. I picked up a nonfiction book, which again is a Fitzgeraldo edition. Oh, they gave me a lovely bookmark. So pretty. Yeah, anyway. Sorry, there's a really cute dog outside. I think it's a pit bull mix. And she kind of looks like Remy. She has the same colors. She's so cute. Anyway, the book that I got was The Question of Palestine by Edward W. Said. It's probably Said, which is the first book to narrate the modern Palestinian experience in English. So there are chapters on Zionism from the standpoint of its victims, or toward Palestinian self-determination and the Palestinian question after Camp David, the one-state solution. Oh yeah, that's it. So yeah, definitely a big boy. Definitely a book that I really want to take my time reading, and I don't want to rush through this. I think I'll just try and read bits every now and then. But again, I'm trying to broaden my horizon, and I feel like this book will help me to understand the Palestinian experience better. So I'm very interested in this, and I am excited to read it because I feel like I want to engage with this and learn more about it. So yeah, those are all the books that I bought in London. And those are also probably the books that I'll be reading for the rest of this year, with the exception of my Christmas read, which I haven't picked out yet. But otherwise, I will try and make my way through these. Because I also think that for now, I will go on a book buying ban. Not in a very strict kind of way, but just to work through my physical TBR that I already have at home. But that's what I love about going on these trips, because then I can pick out 4 or 5 books that I can bring home with me and then just have some reading material at home. Now I am probably gonna have lunch, and then I'm meeting my friend for coffee, and then afterwards I want to go to the gym. And I might have some plans tonight. And yeah, it's a quite busy weekend for me, which we'll see, because yesterday I completely crashed out on a physical and mental level. So I'm feeling much better today, I have to say. But yeah, let's just see how the weekend goes, because I made a lot of plans and I hope I can stick to them. Because also I'm going back to work on Monday. No, I don't mind going back to work actually, because I like my job. But having a week off is also really nice. So, but it's actually not that long until Christmas holiday. It's about a month. It's pretty much a month. So I think I can manage, even though November, December is a very busy time for everyone, I feel like. So let's see. But yeah, I will talk to you later.